Hello, everybody. It's my privilege to introduce to you, all the way from the south side of Chicago, the man, the myth, the legend, my Theo, your brother, the South Side Unicorn.
And what they're proposing. Romney wants to he said in the first 100 days, he's going to let the big banks once again write their own rules. Unchain Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains.
Hey, it's your boy Ken White, host of the Southside Unicorn Show. And today's show is titled Abort, Abort, Abort. I wonder if you can figure out why. I'm sure you can. Wow. I'm sure you probably feel just like I do. This is really surrealistic. This is really getting kind of scary, y'all. We're watching full grown adults be led around by the nose at the slightest word, at the slightest whim of the left, even when you can fact check them and prove they're lying. But I don't see no fact checkers around. Do you? I mean, fact checkers only come around if a Republican opens their mouth. But I'm looking at some of the things that the Democrats are doing to try to get themselves some yardage for the impending defeat in November by once again pandering to the fears and misconceptions of the American people. Now it's abortion. You know, abortion is the end of the world and everything is changing because of it. I mean, for example, what is this? The New York Times. The New York Times has a article titled "The Morning," which was on June 25th, uh, 2022, written by Ian Prasad Philbrick. Now, this man is writing to the public, people who crack open the New York Times or scroll through it on their app, and this is what he's saying. Check this out. Good morning. The Supreme Court's abortion ruling will transform American life and politics. Yeah, maybe it will, maybe it won't. I'll continue. In bold, it says, no such right. And then he goes on to say, the Supreme Court has overturned the constitutional right to an abortion in America. Fact checkers, hello, where are you? That's not what happened here, ladies and gentlemen. Some of you know that this is a lie. Some of you are already trying to block the freeways because of what this man is saying. Let me continue just a little more. I mean, I'm going to probably have to stop if the warm water starts rushing in my mouth, but I'll try to read some more right now. The court's decision issued yesterday is the culmination of a general conservative campaign to strike down Roe v. Wade, the 1973 Supreme Court ruling that established abortion rights. The three conservative justices whom Donald Trump appointed to the court supplied the votes to finally do so. Well, hey, when it comes to presidents and their platforms and their electoral platforms, Democrats lie. They tell you all the platitudes and everything you want to hear in order to get elected. President Donald J. Trump didn't do that. He told the American people the truth. He said he hoped to get enough justice onto the Supreme Court where you would see Roe versus Wade be changed automatically. That's what he said. That's out of his mouth. He didn't lie. He didn't hide it from you. He didn't say he was going to do one thing, then get off in office and do a totally other thing. Speaking to the African Americans, the Negroes, the blacks out there who either lied for, cheated for, or worse, voted for Joe Biden. He told you guys he was going to get you some reparations. He's 2 years deep. I ain't heard no more about reparations. Have you? Hmm. So let's continue with this gentleman's article in the New York Times titled The Morning, written by Ian Prasad Philbrick. Man, this dude is getting on my nerves right now. I don't know how much more of this I can read. Um, let's go on with it. The Constitution makes no reference to abortion, and no such right is implicitly protected by any constitutional provision, Justice Samuel Alito wrote for the majority. Roe falls in a political and social earthquake, one that Americans alternately celebrated and mourned. I cannot think of a precedent for this in our modern history, where you have an individual civil right that people depend on that has been rolled back after 50 years, said my colleague Emily Bazelon, who writes about abortion access and the courts. I'm going to skip down a little bit, ladies and gentlemen, to where it says the immediate impact. Now I'm going to let this cat in his article go. Immediate impact. The ruling promptly shifted the political fight over abortion to the state level. That was Alito wrote on one of the court's aims. The authority to regulate abortion must be returned to the people and their elected representatives, which largely tracked the draft that leaked the political last month. These kids who are supposedly journalists and all that, they write so horribly. I'm gonna let it go right there, ladies and gentlemen, because you can see passion play, deception. Uh, if I was a fact checker, I wouldn't go partially false. I'd go, this man is lying. He's misleading you. Look, Roe versus Wade, from what I understand, if I'm spitting out urban legend, somebody stop me. But it looks like even when she made the plaint claiming that she had been raped, that wasn't true. Fact checkers, hello, where are you? Oh wait, there weren't any fact checkers back in the 1970s. I get it. I understand. And back then, someone used the term rape. Hey, that's some serious stuff, you know, uh, not to be played with. But if it's true that that didn't happen, then the very premise for this case being heard was a lie. And we all know who the liar is. The devil is a liar. And as a result, countless millions of lives were lost over what could have been, what might have been a lie. Now, let's just briefly touch base on what happened. What happened with the Supreme Court? Look, guys, for those of you who follow me on Facebook and Instagram, what's left of my Instagram, for all of you guys, thank you. For those of you who write and say, I simply love your postings, I finally get you. You make me so happy. You're the ones that I'm doing this for. I'm not doing this to quote unquote be famous. I don't want people's likes. What I would like is for the American people to get this, to understand where the Southside Unicorn is coming from. So for those of you out there who get me, thank you. Thank you so much. I made a posting, I think it was 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago. Actually, here's how we timestamp it. I made that posting right after the Supreme Court came down on the side of the Second Amendment and said, the Second Amendment is Jake with us. It's okie dokie. It's good stuff. It's cool and good to go. And the states shall not, you know, may issue concealed weapons permits and trying to stop people from having a Mohaski, a strap, a heater in their hands, in their barn, in their car, wherever. Second Amendment clearly says Congress shall make no law that abridges the rights of the people to keep and bear arms. So when I saw them come down on the side of the Second Amendment, pardon When I saw them come down on the side of the Second Amendment, yours truly made a meme. And that meme goes as follows. When a sitting senator threatened the safety and the lives of the Supreme Court justice, nothing happened to him. When citizens went to the homes of Supreme Court justice and threatened them, the Attorney General, Merrick Garland, did nothing. That right there literally sparked them to have to side with the Second Amendment because it was a matter of self-preservation at that point. They got they got the point of why you should be armed firsthand. The funny part about it is, or the ironic part about it is, the crazy far extreme leftists literally propelled their decision about the Second Amendment. And so, ladies and gentlemen, when I saw that go down, when I saw them side with the Second Amendment, I did right. That means they're going to remove Roe versus Wade. That means that what used to be the Second Amendment is now the first because they knew that once they came down and removed Roe versus Wade from the federal clutches, oh, you're going to want a strap. You're going to want a heater. You're going to need a Mohaski. I mean, look at these jabronis already in Los Angeles, back to blocking the freeways, putting their hands on people, threatening people. That is exactly what the Second Amendment is about. It's about people who don't know how to behave. It's about people who don't know how to control themselves. President Barack Hussein Obama was elected in 2008, and I can't tell you how bad I felt. I can't tell you how pissed off I was. I can't tell you how it made me feel. It made me feel some kind of way. But I respected the process, and I did nothing outside the confines of the law. But now these leftists, these jabronis, a decision is made that they don't like. Oh, they are already ready to lay hands on you and block your freeways and steal your freedoms and make threats against your life. Thank God for the Second Amendment. Thank God that the Supreme Court was not intimidated or moved by these type of un-American people within the confines of America. Hey, guess what? It's time for a station break. We'll be right back after these messages.
Hey, my name is Toot Sweet, and I'm New York City's original artist, singing for the cause of freedom. I've spent the last 10 years of my life documenting history through my music. It's like a recipe that's blessing me, bringing out the best of me, aggressively testing me to create my own destiny and understanding, universally accepting adversity and learn more lessons in life than you'll learn in any. And when I'm in need of a dose of reality to escape the liberal land and make believe, I tune in to the Southside Unicorn, where the truth is as solid as New York City concrete. My name is Toot Sweet, and you're listening to my friend Ken White on the Southside Unicorn, and this party's just getting started.
When I see a new broadcast from the Southside Unicorn, I can't wait to listen to it. You just never know what he's going to say.
Step 1, train the people only to consume. Step 2, infiltrate adults with the news. Step 3, indoctrinate the children through the schools and the music and the apps on the phones that they use. Step 4, separate the right from the left. Step 5, separate the white from the black. Step 6, separate the rich from the poor. Use religion and equality to separate them more. Step 7, fabricate a problem, made a lie. Step 8, put it on the news every night. Step 9, when people start to fight and divide, take control. This is called situational design.
Hey, it's your boy Ken White, and we're back for the second segment of Abort, Abort, Abort. You know, I think it's only fair that we look at this word abort And I've looked through the apps and the definitions, dictionary definitions, and all this stuff, and I found a very curious thing. The word abort, perhaps in 1950, perhaps in 1920, would have meant the cessation, the ending of an event before its completion. It would have meant the end of a military action or something like that. But when you look in today's definition of abort, it reads just like this: carry out, undergo abortion, decision to abort the fetus. That's the first definition of the word abort. So that's the first thing that comes into a young person's mind when it comes to the word abort. That's the first thing that comes in their mind, period. Because the media, the government, people like Nancy Pelosi, so forth and so on, they have permeated the minds of our citizenry with the issues and the talking points and the framing of those talking points exactly the way they want you to think about it. It's inescapable. You can't even get away from it now if you tried. You look up the definition of abort and you'll see it talks about the clinical abortion of children. That's the definition of abort? Not really. Not quite. Its truest definition is to bring the premature end because there was a problem or a fault with the system. That's its truest definition. But yet we already know most of these abortions that are happening, they don't happen because there's a fault or a problem with the system. They're just elective. They're just because the person is inconvenienced. Oh, sure. Even on my page today, I got people saying, but what about the people who are going to have ectopic pregnancies and da 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 da? We understand that and we get that. That's the whole purpose of medical science advancement. I am I'm grateful. I guess that's the word I'll use. I'm grateful that we have progressed with our science to such a level that a woman, if she needed, just like when we were going shopping with our moms and dads in the grocery stores, we tell them what we wanted, and they be like, I'm not gonna get you that just because you want it. I'm gonna get you what you need. If a woman needed an abortion, and I'm sure many of you are glad that our medical science has progressed to such a level, she could go in at 9 a.m. and by 11 or 12, the whole process is done and she's back home resting with no real risk to her life at all. If it was a life threatening issue that caused her to put her feet in those stirrups. But to simply argue the fact that I want an abortion, I need to get one, come on, guys. They even perverted the definition of the word abort to fit their narrative. Can't escape it. Such a shame. Um, I figure it's only fitting that we look into the origin of Roe versus Wade, because some of you aren't even old, some of you aren't even old enough to even know about Roe versus Wade. I grew up watching this on TV, believe it or not. I saw the news when they would mention, what was being done with the trial, this, that, and the other thing. Some of you, all you know about Roe versus Wade is what you get from an app or from a definition of in a dictionary, which tells you exactly what you should think about it. So I figure it's only fair on the Southside Unicorn Show that we discuss the origin of Roe versus Wade. So let's try to get off into that real quick. In March of 1970, the pseudonym Jane Roe was introduced to the Supreme Court because this person, this Jane Roe, wanted to abort her child, claiming rape. claiming that she had a right to have that abortion. And so the process began. Now, the real name of Jane Roe is Norma McCorvey, McCorvey. Norma McCorvey. That's her real name. And it's been rumored that even she doesn't want Roe versus Wade to exist anymore. Did you know that, of course, obviously, because it was going through the courts, I would imagine it probably, probably took some time for it to be heard. And it only takes 9 months to gestate a baby. This case would not be ultimately decided for over 3 years. So when I share what I'm about to with you, ladies and gentlemen, I can understand why that probably happened because she felt strongly about that particular part of requesting the abortion. She didn't get an abortion, believe it or not. Here she is, you know, Jane Roe, Norma McCorvey, going to the Supreme Court for the right to abort a child. And ultimately, she herself has not had one. The child that she did give birth to ultimately ended up being adopted out. A decision was handed down by the Supreme Court on the 22nd of January, 1973. Now I'm wondering, hey, this is where these people have taken it to. They started with this, and look at all that has come from Roe versus Wade from 1973 to the state of New York putting up lights, fanfare, fireworks because of their extreme abortion rights in New York State, where more black children are aborted than are born. I'm wondering, in 1973, when they handed down a decision that she had a right to that abortion, could we have seen the first child actually be walked into a medical room, put on a gurney, and given an injection to be aborted? I'll use the word aborted, but we know that would have been murder. If it would have been murder to do that to a 3-year-old, shouldn't it still be considered the same thing for a child who could live on their own outside the womb? But that's just how far they've dragged abortion rights, ladies and gentlemen. They've dragged abortion rights to absurdity. To absurdity. Now, check this out. The child was indeed adopted out. Now, I know because it hit me the same way. I was like, ooh, where is that child today? That child would be about 48 years old, maybe, about 48 years old now. Was it a girl? If so, did she herself end up having an abortion at some point during her life? Was it a boy? Did he end up having or help to create life? And the person he had that relationship with, did they abort his child? What's going on with the child of of Jane Roe? Where is that child? I know. I thought the same thing. But guess what? The adoption was handled by an attorney named McCluskey, and he was the only person to know the facts and data regarding the I was about to say abortion, regarding the adoption. So it's kind of difficult to find the child that is the child of Jane Roe. But on to Mr. McCluskey and the burning question of just where is this child? Nobody's going to know that, my friends. Nobody's ever going to find that out. Would you like to know why? Here's why. Because the lawyer, the one person who had the information about who this child really grew up to be, was found murdered. That's right, dead. I wonder where Hillary was during that situation. Now they want to tell us that it's totally unrelated to the Roe versus Wade case. No, he was just murdered, but it's not related to that. Not at all. But the one person who could actually tell us where this child is and who that child became, was found murdered. Hmm. Telling you, man, when it comes to these Democrats, when it comes to their issues, when it comes to kicking it with them, when it comes to hanging out with them, I wouldn't do it. I mean, the trail of death, no pun intended, the trail of death is long with these people. So, for those of you who were wondering, that's the origin of Roe versus Wade. That's who started it. That's what ultimately ended up with it. And isn't it ironic that the very woman who petitioned to have abortion become a law ended up adopting her child out? Why is it that adoption seems to be a non sequitur, a non starter? Why can't you allow that human being to come to life and then have them adopted out? Oh, I know why. Because there ain't no baby formula, right? Because you'd bring a baby into the world and you'd have to fight and scratch to get some baby formula. That's because we got people who made sure that that would be an issue to try to motivate people to do an abortion as opposed to supporting life. This is a setup from start to finish, ladies and gentlemen. And it's a setup that we have to actually peer through because, how can I put it? They get mad at us when we say, thank God that Roe versus Wade was struck down. I have read some of the nastiest stuff about faith and people of faith because of Roe versus Wade. Oh, y'all out there fornicating and this and that and the other thing, and now y'all glad that abortion is struck down. Woo, woo, woo. It's not so much that, my friends. It's that the Constitution won. The Constitution of this here republic is the one thing that holds us together. It's the one thing that the Democrats are trying so hard to destroy. And it's nice to see that even today, the United States Constitution still has value, still has respect. Nobody's lost their right to abort if that's what they really must do. It simply said, hey, this ain't none of our business. We're the federal government. And as the federal government, we need to step out of this situation and return this power back to the states. That's a beautiful country, man. That's the way it was supposed to be. And I'm glad to see for once it worked the way it should. But I guess in the next few days we'll determine if that's a good thing or a bad thing, right? Hey, y'all, guess what? It's time for another station break. And I hope you stay tuned. Don't go anywhere because when we come back, we're going to talk about all kind of stuff that flowers into the abortion issue or the non abortion issue, if you will. We'll be right back after these messages.
You are listening to the Southside Unicorn Show, hosted by my friend, Ken White. He'll be back after these messages.
It's Joy Villa, and I'm reminding you to tune in to the Southside Unicorn Show, hosted by my friend Ken White.
Do just what you want. You're the one I trust. I belong to you.
When I see a new broadcast from the Southside Unicorn, I can't wait to listen to it. You just never know what he's going to say.
Hey, we're back for the third segment of Abort, Abort, Abort. Hooey. Now, when we left off, we were talking about, why people would say that adoption's not an option and that go ahead and abort the child because it's a cruel, cruel world. You know? Mm-mm. This life that we live, all of us, it has its bumps, it has its ups and downs, but it's a one-time ride. And I, for one, say anybody who wants to take this ride, let them. Anybody who's on this ride, Don't try to abort the ride. Don't take the ride into your own hands. Enjoy it. It'll come to a stop soon enough. All this caterwauling about it being bad and this, look, I have had a life and I pray it gets way better from here. But I've experienced some things in my life, ladies and gentlemen, that would have made most people want to check out. That ain't never going to happen with me. I'm enjoying this ride. I know that if the children who have been aborted could have been asked and they could have answered back, hey, do you want to take that ride or do you want us to just go ahead and save you some headaches? They would have elected to take the ride. As it was said by President Ronald Reagan, which I love that man and he was an extremely wise man. He said, I find it, interesting that everybody who's for abortion has already been born. Go figure. I have my own maxim regarding abortion. It runs kind of parallel to what he said. Mine is always choose life. Somebody did for us. I made a meme tonight that reads that I cannot believe I live on a planet with creatures who are angry because they cannot murder their offspring, and yet they are willing to kill for the right to do so. You talk about some Orwellian stuff. You talk about some crazy, jinky, kind of thinking. I'm sure you agree with me. It's weird watching how these people are going off over this issue. Okay, fine. I believe it was like 13 states or what have you that have already said, "Oh, good, end abortion. We ain't having it here." That is their right. That is what the Supreme Court handed down, which is each state has a right to decide for itself. So, that being true, your boy Gavin Newsom over here in the country of California, which for intents and purposes of getting money, grants, support, federal dollars, they like to call a state, state in the Union of the United States of America. But yeah, over here in the country of California, Gavin Newsom is already using the hard earned tax dollars of the people to say, hey, if you want an abortion, we'll get you over here. You can come on over here to California. We'll help you murder your baby. So don't tell me that Roe versus Wade being struck down is the end of a woman's right to have an abortion. No, it just means that in some states, the people are going to sleep a little easier. They're going to breathe a little bit better, knowing that they're not party to the murder of innocent children. But if that's your kick, if that's your thing, save up your money while you out there procreating or whatever it is you're doing to cause yourself to be pregnant. Go ahead and save up your money and get yourself on over there to New York City. New York City? Get on over there to New York or California, and I'm sure there'll be several of Oregon. Oregon said, hell no, we won't go. So that's three right there. It's not like you got to go run into a closet looking for a hanger. It's not like you got to be running all up and down these streets blocking people's rights to get to and fro from home and work. Calm down. You can still kill babies, okay? Calm down. You just aren't going to be able to do it willy nilly in certain people's states, which, by the way, to me, is a good thing. Now, I'm sure many of you out there are probably having the same issues I ran into today, because these are real issues. This is real life. This is how it gets down. This is how it goes down. When you live in your life. I am pro-life. I am all about the sanctity of life. I don't really want to see an abortion happen unless, the life of the mother is being threatened and she really needs to have that procedure done. Again, as I said earlier in the show, I am so glad we have the medical science technology to be able to do it efficiently and safely. I'm all with that. But talking about regular life and how we're living it, especially those of us north of 50 who have younger people in our lives. Oh, I've been called a hypocrite. I had, and I'm gonna put my business out there just a little bit. One of my children tried to come at me about a personal situation that went down with them and their mom, right? And I had to set the record straight. But I want to say this to everybody out there: God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, those of us with faith and belief. Here's how that works. One day you decide, I can't do this no more. I can't do this on my own. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I don't like the way I'm living, and I don't like myself very much. And so what do? Those who make the decision. Maybe you're in church. Maybe you're at the beach. Maybe you're in your bedroom. It happens wherever it's going to happen, okay? But somewhere in there, you decide with yourself that you're going to give your life to God, that you're going to change who you are. And on that day, there's a deal made between you and the Lord Jesus Christ. He says, "Bring all your hassles to me." I'm paraphrasing, and when I had my exposure in theology class, they tell you not to really change not one word. So I'm letting you know I'm paraphrasing right now. He said, "Bring all your hassles, bring all your pains, all that are heavy laden. Come on, bring me that stuff. I'm a God. I'm the Son of God. I can handle it a whole lot better than you can." And look, this ain't no con. This ain't no hustle. I want you to come to me, and I'm going to love you. I'm going to help make you better. And I'm going to forgive all the things that you did. If you would just, and repentance necessarily isn't part of the deal, but it's there. But if you'll just come to me, if you will just profess me as your Savior, I'm going to forget all that stuff, and you're going to get a clean slate in life. And the things that you used to do, you're not going to do no more. And you're going to live a better life through me. Now, I said all of that to get to this point. Those of us who find ourselves being pro-life, who are against abortions, who knows who you were in your past? Maybe you agreed with, had one, participated in, facilitated an abortion. Maybe you did. And then here comes those who still live in that world, who live in that realm. And I'm going to say it point blank. If you living in that realm, if you living in that world, you ain't got a good enough relationship with Jesus Christ yet. And perhaps that's probably why it's easy for people like that to convict you of your past. They're going to go in your past and say, "Oh, but you did an abortion. Oh, but you wanted to have an abortion. Oh, you told so and so to go get one." Uh, that was then. This is now. And if you are unable to accept that people can change their minds, then you're not qualified to even be in this conversation. So see yourself out. That's what you tell people who try to convict you of your past when it comes to the issue of abortion. And speaking of the issue of abortion and those who had any contact with it in their past, wouldn't, and I'm gonna use the word wouldn't we be a better reference or a better person to speak on the issue of abortion? Because been there, done that. You know what I'm saying? Been there, done that. I think those people have a better right to speak on abortion than anybody. And since I've said that, I'll say this to you. Having seen the carnage, the regret, the psychological damage that comes from the issue of aborting a viable child, a viable fetus that had nothing else wrong with it, there was no issues going on. It's just that it was an inconvenient time, or the child was going to pose a problem to that person's future advancements, so they believe. That can cause all kind of damage and all kind of harm in a person's heart and in their mind. So those of us who know better, those of us who are saying, I am now pro-life, we're not being hateful when we say that. We just know from a better perspective than some of these young people running around here blocking these freeways or tapping you on the shoulder going, excuse me, didn't you? Weren't you? I remember you when. Look, we are a unique, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. We're unique. And I'll say it this way and try to set faith to the side for just a second. Let's just say there ain't no God. I mean, I'm not saying that, but let's just say there isn't a God. That for some strange reason, an elephant was going through the galaxy, tripped over a donut, part of his tusk broke off, and the next thing you know, you got people on the earth. I mean, the Big Bang or whatever you want to say. Let's say that there is no God and we're just it. Well, if that's it, if we are the most complex living sentient creature in the galaxy, what are we doing? What is this we're doing? As an evolved, civilized creature, killing your own offspring simply because you can, destroying something as awesome and magnificent as the human being, if we are the phenomena that science and the non-believer would have you believe, what are we doing? You would think that we would marvel at each other and want to have everyone experience something as rare and unique as life. This is life we're living right here, right now. You hear me. I know I'm talking to you. That means we are alive. We are enjoying something that is absolutely unique and may never come again if you want to believe like the non believer. But if, and I guess I'm just being rhetorical here, but if they're wrong and there really is a God and he knew us in the womb as we were being woven, what is this that we're doing? What are we doing? Hey, I want to continue with that just a little bit and some more stuff that I want to share with you in this show today. But you know what time it is. Got to go ahead and take that station break. Be right back. Go nowhere.
Hey, my name is Toot Sweet, and I'm New York City's original artist, singing for the cause of freedom. I've spent the last 10 years of my life documenting history through my music. It's like a recipe that's blessing me, bringing out the best of me, aggressively testing me to create my own destiny and understanding, universally accepting diversity and learn more lessons in life than you're learning any. And when I'm in need of a dose of reality to escape the liberal land of make-believe, I tune in to the Southside Unicorn, where the truth is as solid as New York City concrete. My name is Toot Sweet, and you're listening to my friend Ken White on the Southside Unicorn, and this party's just getting started.
It's Joy Villa, and I'm reminding you to tune in to the Southside Unicorn Show, hosted by my friend Ken White.
Do just what you want. You're the one I trust. I belong to you.
You are listening to the Southside Unicorn Show, hosted by my friend Ken White. He'll be back after these messages.
But she ain't good enough for the house no more either. They gonna try to make her a comfort girl. What's a comfort? Oh, not while I got freedom. Not while I got my gun.
Hey, it's your boy Ken White, and we are back for the fourth and final segment of Abort. When we left off, I was saying, what are we doing? If there is no God, then we are destroying the most unique creature in the galaxy over nothing. But if there is a God, we're destroying the creation of a God for our own personal whims. Either way you cut it, no pun intended, it's wrong. It's wrong. When it comes to life, none of us can prove that we pulled the lever and said, hey, I want to be there. I'm ready to go. Make me white, or ooh, make me, you know, 6'1", or make me 7 foot tall because I want to go to the NBA. So that's how I want to be born. None of us can say that. We simply come here knowing life. And for those of us who made it through this portal to this dimension, to deny that to others, ah, I can't imagine anything more horrific. Yes, abortion's there. Yes, it is your right if you want to. But I think on a some people have used the word moral. I just think on a level of decency. Don't just go killing babies because it's inconvenient for you. At worst case, it'll be inconvenient for you for 9 months to let a person have whatever they're going to have 30, 70, 90, 100 years of life. Your 9 months worth of inconvenience is surely worth that. After all, you started it. Now, you heard that little clip from Jamie Foxx. It's from the movie Django. And in those of you who saw Django, I'm pretty sure everybody saw it. The story is he's going through the deep south in slavery times looking for his woman. And what did he say in that clip that I played for you? They're not gonna turn her into a comfort girl so long as I got my freedom and I got my gun. Now isn't it ironic that a Hollywood type like Jamie Foxx would be saying something like that in a movie to make sure he gets his money, gets his chips? Boy, 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 we could sure use some brothers like that in the real world. Long as you got your freedom, long as you got your gun, ain't no woman gonna be running around being no comfort girl. Well, somebody needs to come tell that to Gavin Newsom because out here in the state of California, my man Gavin Newsom is coming up with a bill called SB 357, or should I say 357, because it is like having a gun pushed straight to your head. Gonna have young ladies. You come on. We thought sex trafficking was bad under Joe Biden busting loose the border, and even the coyotes were saying, "Damn, we ain't never made this kind of money before. This is good pickings." The horrors that are being visited upon young ladies and women because of the wild border that we have. Now Gavin Newsom, if this was a basketball game, is playing alley oop with Joe Biden. He's gonna make it even easier for the proliferation of sex, crime, drugs, because now they're gonna just make prostitution legal. SB 357. If you want to know more about it, go ahead and catch up with Opal Singleton on her page, on her show. It's called millionkids.org. She has a way that you can get in touch with the state. You can call your representatives and tell them you ain't feeling this because if it goes down the way they want to have it done, or we're going to have legal prostitution in the state of California. And like I say, the LGBTQ has given him their blessing because they claim in doing this, it'll stop the police from harassing black women. I am so sick and tired of people using my ethnicity, my race, my skin color to get what they want. SB 357 is allegedly being put into place to stop the police, the popo, from harassing black women when when the majority of women who are sex trafficked are brown. They need the police getting involved. But not with Gavin Newsom, not with the way things are going down. And you talk about the rampant, and I brought that in just to say this. Imagine the rampant abortions that are going to come from that. Imagine. What the hell are these people out here doing? What are they doing? You know, I look at it this way. You go back to 1973, the 22nd of January, when they ratified abortion and said it was okay. And you go all the way up to today's date. It is believed by the National Right to Life Committee, the NRLC, that approximately 63 million abortions have been performed. 63 million people had their lives snuffed out before they ever even got a chance to start. And such a small fraction of those were necessary. I'm sitting there thinking, with the populations of most countries actually waning away, most most countries only have a birth rate of 1.2 children or something like that. And the way it works is if you're not making a lot of babies, your nation, your social security system, the whole 9 yards is going to collapse. You won't have enough people. You'll have to have uncontrolled border crossings. You'll have to let your borders fall to get enough citizens to fill the blank. They keep telling us that illegal immigration brought us 20 million illegals. Now, they've been saying that for like 15 years, that it's 20 million. It's 20 million illegals. Well, that many, 2.2 million, crossed just this year alone. But imagine if America had its thinking cap screwed on right. We had 63 million Americans right here. Will we need anybody to come into our country? With 63 million? Oh wait, hold up. I might have got ahead of myself, I do think. Because I gotta always keep in mind that the majority of that 63 million were brown. Would that have been a bad thing or a good thing to America? Well, if you ask me, it would have been okay. But if you ask Margaret Sanger, who actually, before they renamed it the Planned Parenthood program, it was named the Negro Project. So I guess in her estimation, about 50 million more brown people walking around in America would not have been a good thing. Hmm. Even when I discuss this with you guys, I see something extremely sinister going on here. Extremely sinister. Now, listening to Nancy Pelosi try to condition the minds of the American people on the decision of the Supreme Court, she says women have less freedoms today than their mothers had. Man, where's the fact checkers? Hello, fact checkers? Anyone around? Anybody seen a fact checker? Let's check that fact real quick. Just quickly, shall we? These women of the 21st century now wake up to having less freedoms than their mothers had. Well, let's see. In 1974, a single woman or a married woman could not even get a credit card without her husband's permission. And if she wasn't married, she couldn't get one at all. It took the Equal Credit Opportunity Act of 1974 to get a woman the right to have her own credit card. Now, here comes the kicker, talking about abortions and all of that stuff. Up until 1978, getting pregnant, just the fact of getting pregnant, could cost you your job. Your job, that's right, could have been aborted if you were found to be pregnant and working. But in 1978, the Pregnancy Discrimination Act was made, and it became illegal to fire a woman for getting pregnant. So that right there ends one of the reasons for trying to have an abortion. You don't need it. You got the protections of the federal government saying if somebody tried to fire you from your job for being pregnant, you would get lots and lots and lots of money. Women couldn't be on certain juries up until 2013, believe it or not. Now that one, no. I take that back. 1978. What was a thing was women couldn't be on the front lines fighting in wars until 2013. But now a woman can even be on the front line and fight like they do in Afghanistan, Iraq, you know. And for all you female warriors out there, all you female service members, thank you for your service. And up until 1993, there was no such thing as spousal rape. If hubby came home And he's like, I put in a hard day. Where you at, baby? You know, that was not even considered a crime. But now, since 1993, spousal rape is a crime. So when Nancy Pelosi, and I could go on and on, I could go on to where Ivy Leagues did not allow women to attend their colleges, but between the years 1969 to 1971, the admission laws of the Ivy League colleges were relaxed and changed, and women, as you know, now enjoy Ivy League college degrees, the whole nine yards. So when Nancy Pelosi claims that women woke up to fewer rights today than their mothers had, she lying, y'all. They straight lying. The devil is a liar. The devil is a liar. Well, yeah, fact checkers. When y'all gonna get over there on Nancy Pelosi and put one of them cute little logos at the bottom of her little print and say partially true, or that is what it really is, which is an outright damn lie. Young people, you're being lied to. You're being tricked out of your legacy. You're being pulled away from something so precious. You were born free. You were born in a free nation, and you're in like the top 5% of human beings on the planet Earth. When you really put that back into consideration, you are born as one of the top human beings on the planet Earth. Why would you want to change that? The rest of the world is doing okay. Everybody's getting theirs. The people who aren't getting theirs, they kind of like doing stuff that makes that the way it is. The world has changed dramatically. That everybody's getting theirs if they want to get some. Okay? So you don't have to give up yours to make sure somebody else gets some. Food production, the whole nine yards until it was being tampered with, is able to feed the world. We're getting food to all the corners of the world. Talk about food deserts or whatnot. No, not necessarily so. So why would you want to change your nation? And on that same note, why would you want to deprive somebody else from being able to enjoy the very same nation that you enjoy today? I think the only thing that needs to be aborted around here is the notion of abortion, the notion that we need to fundamentally change America, the notion that what we are is inherently or fundamentally wrong, that America is bad. Those three things, those are the things we need to abort. Abort, abort, abort. Wow, an hour can go by so fast. Thank you for sharing this time with me. There's no place I'd rather be. Nothing more I'd rather do than being right here doing this show for you. This is Ken White, host of the Southside Unicorn Show, and we are out.